fellow researchers, audiences, and distinguished committee. In this lovely morning, I would like to present our research in shortening the process time of acquiring a driver's license for motorcycle, or what we call in Indonesia is SIM-C. We have conducted this research about a year ago, and we've done this research for 3 months in the Satpas office of Cimahi, West Java. And throughout the next slides, I would like to present our findings, analysis, and results of our research. In this opportunity, I would like to also thank my fellow researchers in University of Jenderal Ahmad Yani, especially on the Department of Informatics. And also, I'm speaking in front of you on behalf of my first author, who is currently unavailable at this moment. So I will move on to the next slides and present our research. So this research was based on the fact that during the last decades, we have seen a tremendous growth of motorcycle ownership in Indonesia. The growth was huge, and it is also, consequently, it is also affected the number of people applying for SIM-C. The government, as the official organizations through Polri, has done so many interventions and so many initiatives to make sure that all the citizens are very well serviced at that moment, especially on making their new driver's licenses. However, we still find so many queues and so many people complaining about the processing time of making one particular SIM-C. For instance, if one particular person goes into Satpas office, and let's say at 8:30 in the morning, most likely he will go out and obtain the SIM-C around 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It would take the whole day to create one driver's license. That is if everything goes well. For some people, when they forgot to bring the necessary documents, when they failed to do the simulations or the theory exams, they need to come again in the second, in the third, or even up to a week to create their driver's licenses. This can be a problem. We, as researchers, would like to present some alternatives or some suggestions for us to be able to shortening the process time using business process re-engineering methods. Especially in this case, we use the gap analysis approach, and the what's so called is the architectural processes breakdown. Okay, I will move on to the next slides. In this slide, we present to you the research steps that we have conducted to be able to shortening the process time. The first major steps in our research is the data collection part. In this process, we managed to have contact with the Satpas office at Cimahi, and we have conducted several interviews and observation in order for us to get a sufficient amount of data for us to be able to analyze all the business processes. Next, we disseminate the information using the business process architecture and divide them into several categories. The first one, the input and output. The second one is the flow units. The third one is the activity and buffers. The fourth one is the resources. And the fifth one is the information structure. After that, we conduct gap analysis and be able to obtain and be able to identify which gaps that has not yet been covered or implemented at the current system. The next steps would be providing the solutions and simulate the solution so we can have the estimated new processing time compared to the old processing time. Okay, next we will discuss a bit about the organizational structure. Why we discuss about the organizational structure, we want to give you a clearer view of how complex is our study that we have conducted. In this part, you can see the dotted blue lines and the dotted red lines. Both are the areas of research that we conducted. As we can see, we conducted a cross-functional business process analysis throughout multiple departments in the SATPAS office. Now, after several interviews, observations, and we create a whole bunch of data collection, we managed to define 44 processes within the SATPAS office and within the process of acquiring a new driver's license for motorcycle. These processes starts from the registration when they start queuing in the window and finish when they obtain the printed driver's license. The input of the process, we define the input as a registration document, and the output is the printed driver's license or the printed SIM-J. Okay, those input and outputs, as you can see in the slide, carried on or carried out through several flow units. We have 7 flow units that goes into the entire process system. You can see in the slide, we have defined the flow units of the tangible input and the intangible input. The next one is the most important part, is defining the network of activities and buffer. As mentioned before, we have defined 44 processes, and by looking at it one by one, we have it resulted to a 201 minutes of the total activities and 89 minutes of the total buffer time. So in total, we have 290 minutes of process time, which is around 4 hours and 50 minutes. So it's about 5 hours. So let's say if we go to the SATPAS office at 8:30 in the morning, it is most likely for us to finish everything at 1:30 in the afternoon. But we have to know that there are recess time or break time at the SATPAS office for 1 hour. So at the quickest time that we can obtain is 2 2:30 in the afternoon. So as you can see, the whole process will take about the whole full day. And again, if everything goes right. Okay, so next, after finding all those facts, we try to give suggestions. We try to give some solutions through the methods of business process reengineering. So, first, what we do is we conduct a gap analysis study. As you can see in the slide, we have managed to define 7 gap analysis from the registration processes up until the simulation part, the theory test, and the integration part of the system. As you know, that the registration or the application of SIMCE has been done in IT system, but some of the steps or some of the process is done using offline process, not inside the system. So we can see that in the system, some of the process are done online and some of them are done offline. This has created an opportunity for us to make them fully online, and we can shorten the processing time. After the gap analysis study, we create suggested solutions which covers all the gap analysis. We have created 8 suggested solutions, as you can see in my slides, from adding validation through the registration process, so that the officer doesn't need to check and recheck one by one all the documents. And then we also inserted the ability for each applicants to do their task theory using their own devices, using their own mobile system connected to the internal network of SATPAS office. This can shorten the process of waiting in the theory test. Next, we also implement IoT system, which enables the practical simulation tests, and through that sensors, we can directly send the result of the exam, of the test result, to the server, and they can immediately define whether one person failed or success or can carry through in the next processes. Okay, now after defining the gap analysis, defining the suggested solution, we have managed to do the same thing over again using the business by redesigning the business process using the process architectural methods. By doing that, we have managed to shorten the process time, the process flow, into a significant 20 to 25% decrease. The number of process from 44 process, we have cut down into 32 processes. So, in conclusion, we are able to give suggestion that one particular applicants can finish all the process before lunchtime or before 12 o'clock at noon. So this is what we think is the important findings of our research, that if we can do this, or if our suggestion is applicable to the system, then we can see that the process time is going to take shorter than before, and at the end it will also increase the satisfaction index of the applicants. The result of our study is quite significant. We've managed to shorten the activities time in more than 10%, and we managed to shorten the buffer time in more than 40%. Overall, we managed to shorten all the activity and buffer time to more than 20%. This finding proved to be a significant finding, and we believe that through gap analysis and architectural process, we can optimize the old process time and creating a new and improved process time. Furthermore, in this research, we also give out suggested wireframes that we can use to revamp the current system, the current IT system, and add some mobile application systems for the applicants to be able to do their own theory tests while connected through the internal part of the network. As you can see in the next slides, we can have wireframes from the registration parts, the validation part, up until the mobile app parts. Okay, to sum up all my presentation today, I would like to also feature a system architecture that we suggested on this research that allows the system to work both in the cloud architecture and also on-premise on SATPAS office. Dear fellow researcher, to close our presentation this morning, we would like to give you another glimpse of our slide presentations, and hopefully you will enjoy them, and we wish you all the best of luck. Stay safe, stay healthy, and have a lovely morning to us all. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.